Go for a goalie, or you go for a number one center, or you don't go for anything.
If they're in the hunt for a playoff spot, the odds are Reimer and Scrivens have done a good job, and that.
So you don't need a goalie.
That you probably don't need a goalie. You could go out and get Luongo, but then you're going to handcuff yourself.
Okay.
So to your question, I'd go out and get the center, but
who would you get?
And if you're going to,
Stephen Weiss is a UFA too.
And if you're gonna,
if you can't get Getzlaf signed, I don't want Stephen Weiss. I don't want Weiss.
He's overrated. But
he is overrated. But who else are you gonna sign? Like, I know, isn't Ryan Clough gonna be a?
he's
not
a winger. Though.
He's not a center. Yeah, I know.
Wings.
But he's a power forward. You need one of those. I say get rid of whoever. Get rid of MacArthur or whoever else is down there.
The point is, to your question, if Toronto's willing to hand out the big bucks. Yes, go out and get Getzlaf and try to re-sign him. So that's what I would think. The goaltending should be good enough. Who knows? Maybe you get both. But if you're Ryan Getzlaf, you're not going to re-sign at the trade deadline with You're not going to re-sign with the Ducks. If you want to go back to Anaheim, you're going to wait to be a UFA. You're going to drive up the price. That's just common sense.
Drive up what price? There's a cap on the contract.
The teams are still it doesn't matter that there's a cap on the length. There's no cap on the amount of money though. You can offer the max deals.
Mm-hmm.
But
max deal is $7
teams
million.
aren't going to spend. They're not going to have Ryan Getzlaf taking up 20% of their cap. Like, there's only a certain amount of teams that are going to be able to pay.
You tell me.
There's only going to be a certain amount of teams that are going to be able to pay Getzlaf.
You listen to me. Listen to me. Getzlaf becomes a UFA. You're telling me that there is not at least 5 teams in the league that will offer him as much freaking money as they could possibly give him, like the Leafs. The Leafs have...
It's going to be a bidding war. It's just like what it always is.
If they don't get Luongo, the Leafs, they will have cap space. They're
going to have cap space no matter what.
They will. But they will have more cap space, a lot more cap space, because $5.5 million won't be added to that.
The Leafs need to find a way to keep Phil Kessel too.
They need a number one center then,
and
that's my thinking.
It looks like we're both in agreement that Ryan Getzlaf would fit. I know you said
I like Corey Perry more.
You told me earlier you like Perry more. Yeah,
I do. But Getzlaf, if they got Getzlaf, I would be dancing naked in the streets. Trust me, I would. But the fact of the matter is,
I'm going to hold you to that if they do get Ryan Getzlaf.
You know what? Hold me to this. The Leafs will never get Getzlaf, and they will never get Corey Perry. Do you know why?
Because it's the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Exactly. I hate to say it as a fan, but it's true. Nobody signs. Kessel would never sign with the Leafs.
It makes me sick that people say, "Oh, the Leafs will never get him. Oh, you can't buy a team." Who are the Stanley? Who's a big Stanley Cup favorite?
The Rangers.
And their top line is who?
Brad Richards.
Yep.
Rick Nash. Marian Gaborik.
And how did they get him?
They bought them.
Exactly.
So
and I like to point out to many fans that...
And they have Lundqvist, and they have never won anything.
Lundqvist is a huge part.
Never won anything.
But I like to point out to fans that Phil Kessel was brought in through trade. What if the Leafs signed Brad Richards and Kessel? Would the Leafs be in the same situation as the Rangers last year, where they would say, "Oh, if we go and get Rick Nash, look at our first line. I think it's better than what the Rangers would have. I think Kessel's an upgrade over Gaborik." You obviously don't have the goalie.
Look at the second line. Look at the goalie.
Yeah, but do you really think the Rangers' second line's better than ours?
Well, not now.
I think Grabowski's better than...
JVR and Grabowski.
Is it Callahan or Anisimov's on Columbus? Derek Stepan? I think I'd rather have Grabowski.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but for me, the whole problem with the Leafs, like you were saying, is how everyone says that no one wants to go to the Leafs, which is true. I mean, Brad Richards didn't sign with the Leafs. Rick Nash didn't sign with the Leafs. And where's their incentive to sign with the Leafs? Burke hasn't done anything. I love Burke and what he's done, but when it comes to doing like what Alex Anthopoulos is doing, and
Who, by the way, is introducing R.A. Dickey at the moment.
Right now. And we're watching it right now on sportsnet.ca.
Good thing Justin reads lips so he can translate to what R.A. Dickey's currently saying.
R.A. Dickey is saying...
He's the first knuckleballer to win a Cy Young Award. That's what he's saying.
No, he's saying right now, I'm going to come here, I'm going to do what Kessel hasn't done and what Phaneuf hasn't done and what the second coming of Christ, Kadri, hasn't done, and I'm going to win this team a championship. You know what? That's what Burke needs to do. He needs to go out and he needs to get a ballsy move. You know what he called Anthopoulos? He called him ballsy. That's what Burke called Anthopoulos. Why doesn't Burke take a page from Anthopoulos' book? Go get some players that can play. Like, I know, okay, there's two ways to think of this because Nathan MacKinnon is in the draft. I'm going to say this for the whole show. Because Nathan MacKinnon is in the draft, there are two ways to play this season. One, what you were saying, you bomb it. It's easy to bomb it this season. All you gotta do is lose 5 games in a row and you're screwed. There you go. You got
and the Leafs are good at that.
The Leafs, listen, this is the...
No team blows third period leads, insurmountable leads.
When it comes to what a Leaf fan knows, they know that the Leafs are good at sucking. So if you're good at doing something, do it.
Now, Jay, we've talked about essentially the Leafs and what they want, what they should do this year and for the future. We've looked at cap space. We've looked at potential free agents. But what we need to do is we need to look at the roster they have now. It's nice to envision them getting Nathan MacKinnon, Ryan Getzlaf, Corey Perry. It's nice to envision cap space, who might come where, whether Roberto Luongo comes in or not.
Or hopefully not.
Whether James Reimer returns to his...
He could.
His form 2 years ago.
He played at least 48 games a couple seasons ago. Lights out.
But right now, you did this to me, and I'm going to do it to you. I see that you have created a roster for the current Leafs team.
Let me just get that out for you. Okay.
And my question to you is I'm going to take a guess and say Kessel and Lupul are on the first line.
You just, go ahead and you can just ask me.
I'll host this part.
We'll go 10 minutes on this.
I'll host this part. You be the analyst.
All right. Go ahead. We're good.
This is your big moment. I'm going to take a guess. I'm going to say Lupul and Kessel are on the first line.
Yes, of course. They had chemistry, and you got to go with what you know.
They were all-stars, too.
They were all-stars.
Now, my question to you is JVR the first-line center, or do you have him on the wing on the second line?
Okay.
JVR, he's the next big name. I want to. Don't tell me if he's is he the center on the first line?
No.
Okay, so you have him on the wing then, on the second line?
Yes.
Okay.
Left wing.
And why is that?
Well, I did consider, if I was making the lineup, I did consider him being centering the first line. Unfortunately, our second line, although MacArthur, Kuhlman, and Grabowski have had prior success, they played, forgive my French, but crappy and horribly last season. And, I mean, the Leafs suffered for it. I mean, the first half they didn't suffer for it because you had the first line being lights out. But the second half, they were totally non-existent, and we need something on that line that's going to spark them. I think JVR can spark Grabowski, maybe Kuhlman.
So you did listen to Randy Carlyle's press conference yesterday saying they were going to start JVR out on the second line.
And then, I mean...
And if they need him, they'll move him. They said they're going to try him at center. They think he can play there.
It's true.
Big, strong center.
They're going to start him on the wing, and that's kind of where that, at least my thinking was for putting him on the second line. I want to be somewhat realistic in what the Leafs will actually do. One unrealistic point.
Hold on.
Yes.
Is this still on JVR?
Yeah.
Your next point?
No, I was going to say...
All I was going to add to that was it's nice that the Leafs can put JVR on the second line and kind of groom him into a first-line role eventually. Because he was a second overall pick. That's where the Flyers thought he'd be, is on a first-line, big, power forward winger.
And do you not... Like, for me, it's important as a Leafs watcher, a Leafs fan, that they have Lupul and Kessel as... Yeah. They have some chemistry.
There's some talent there.
So the first two lines, they're not bad. They're not awful. They're just, they need to cohesively mend a little during the season.
So you haven't told the viewers, if Van Riemsdyk's not your first line center, if you have him on the wing, who is the first line center in between Kessel and Lupul?
Okay. As you know, I want everyone listening.
He looked down.
If you are listening to this right now, I want you to guess if you've been listening to any of our shows, who you think I put in the first line center.
Can I guess?
No. Okay, go ahead.
Definitely not Tim Connolly. Is it Tim Connolly?
Are you
You hate Tim Connolly.
Are you trying to poke the bear here? Because I really don't appreciate it.
Is it working?
My hands are shaking right now because you know how I feel about Connolly.
I think the obvious choice would be Bozak.
Oh my god.
Just because there's chemistry.
Yeah, there's a little.
So is
chemistry.
it Tyler Bozak?
No.
Well, who is it then?
It's my boy Kadri, man. I love Kadri.
Sorry, you have Nazem Kadri on the first line.
Yes, Kadri is on the first line.
He's never played an 82-game season for the Leafs.
Because he's never been given... You're the one who told me he should be playing with offensively gifted players. Don't start this with me now. You're trying to poke me. You're trying to poke the bear, and
it's working.
But you're the one who told me he should be playing. That's my lineup.
I'd like to see Kadri and Colburn. Yeah, I would.
Colburn?